We're live. Hi guys. Hello, hello. How are you doing? You all know
Hi,
who I got.
everybody.
Hi, Miss Chris.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Jenny. How are you? I'm so glad you came on. I'm just fangirling. I had a great day. I've had a good day.
Uh,
I've had a good day. So
well,
see guys,
thank you
you
so
can
much for the invite. It's so good to be here, getting out there.
yeah, I'm glad to have you. I am. Like I said, I'm all about you guys. So because otherwise I don't got nothing to talk about.
I dig
Hi,
it.
yeah. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Sean. Hi, Sharper Than a Pencil. Mwah, mwah. And BB. Oh, BB, that's so nice to see you. Okay, well, they'll get in here. They're slow. Whatever,
Oh, oh,
they
so you
get
just click
slow.
the chat box. Okay. Oh, I can see everything.
Did you take the? You know what you want to do? Go to the YouTube channel part and go onto that. Where we are here. You'll see the YouTube what's broadcasting on YouTube, and you pop out that chat. You'll see the chat fast because
Okay, so
you can't even type in, honey. Otherwise,
so
so just
pop
mute
up
yourself.
YouTube and put it on mute.
Yep, put it on mute. Pop up your
Okay.
YouTube because you don't need to be seen. You're not seeing nothing. I don't need to see nothing. I might put some pictures up behind me. You never know what that could be, though, huh?
All right.
So, anyway, what have you been up to? What are you thinking about the case? What's been your biggest like piss off, and what's been your greatest conquering? Like, oh gosh, I knew that. I love to find that out about people. You can just talk
Um,
about anything.
just throwing them questions at me off
Throwing
bat.
them at you. I'm so excited. I guess I need to calm myself down a little bit, maybe, because I'm just really very thrilled you're here. Because I had asked
um,
you a while ago, but you've been so busy. And I'm really, really very, very happy to have you here. And thank you for giving me your time and everybody else so they can get to know you and know what you're doing. And, we all know how you can get to, but, they got to
oh,
come.
of
Hi,
course.
Super
Thank you
Mario.
so much.
You're welcome.
Um, well, I guess I'll just start it when I saw Making a Murderer. Um, I binged it like everyone else and was hooked pretty much from the jump. And it kind of tied into something very very personal for me.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, my grandfather was coerced into a false confession.
Oh, my no.
Um, He spent 18 years in prison for a crime he never committed.
Oh.
Um, Basically, his ex wife and his stepdaughter pretty much set him up. They said that he had molested her.
Mm,
Um, I don't really know the specifics. I requested all the information and records I could, but
right.
didn't work out as well as I had expected because a lot of them were sealed because it was due to a
Child,
minor being
yeah,
involved.
minor being involved is a whole different thing. Exactly. So,
So
I mean,
it,
that's a hard charge to get, for anybody to even listen to. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
When it comes to children.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And basically, the district attorney out here in California, in Riverside County, came
Mhm.
in and bullied him and told him, if you don't say that you did this, you will get 100 years and you will die. If you don't take this plea, you will die in jail.
Wow.
So he had, for the first 6 times he had been seen by a judge and lawyers, he'd pled not guilty, not guilty,
Hmm.
didn't do it. They interviewed the, I'll say, in quotes,
Hmm.
and and then she went in for an evaluation, an exam. She had accused him of something, oral
That you should
copulation
be
with a
able to
minor or
see.
whatnot.
Yeah.
And then they went and gave her an exam and saw that her hymen was not intact. And so, because she wasn't a virgin at 14, they accused my grandfather, who was not accused of any foot kind of penetration. And basically, that was their evidence. She was sleeping with an
Wow.
older boyfriend in high school, so her hymen was no longer intact. She pointed the finger at my grandfather. He went to prison for 18 years.
Did he make it out alive? I mean, he
Yes,
didn't.
he
Oh,
just
good.
he just got out last year.
Oh,
It was the
great. Congratulations.
thank
You
you.
well, you know
He,
that you really know firsthand what Steven's going through as part of a family member, you know?
yes,
Yeah. That,
Absolutely, I do.
see, I can't fathom that myself. I mean, you got to be so strong to be able to, him, especially
It
sitting there
it
knowing
was
he didn't do
so
this and he's
hard.
got a child case on him. It's not easy in prison, you know?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Absolutely
that's
not.
terrible. Was he threatened and things like that? And he had to be spend a lot
No,
of time
because
alone?
it was I was so lucky because when the other prisoners, I should say, gave my grandfather the opportunity to be got to know him,
Hmm.
they knew it was bullshit. He wouldn't hurt a fly. There,
Yeah, like
there was
Brendan, right?
no validity to it whatsoever. He was just a poor guy with no money.
So that goes back to the poor always lose.
Absolutely.
And I sure am seeing that a lot lately with these the innocence files and all that other stuff, and I don't want to put that on there. That'll make me upset. um, the innocent files and all these documentaries, and you're seeing, well, not only the corruption and stuff like that, but you're seeing really the struggle for the families and what, because they're trying to open up and share as much as they can. Does he talk about his experience with you, or is because you lived with him? Did you visit him, or you know
Well,
what I mean?
I got to visit him 3 times.
Hmm.
I had to wait until I was 18
Oh, wow.
because of the circumstance. He went in
Right.
when I was 12,
Oh, wow. And that,
and yeah,
was
and
your
so I got to
grandmother
see.
alive and married to him at the same time, or I
No,
mean,
they were divorced. She was alive, but they were divorced. He had remarried,
okay.
and her and the stepdaughter had accused him. And so my grandmother has remained his support system, his friend, pretty
That's
much
good.
everything through it, even though the separation.
Right.
Um,
Well, at
that's
least he
so
knows people didn't believe it. I mean, that must be some kind of hope for them, being in there. That's what I think for Stephen and Brendan, that they know somebody cares
yeah,
out here and believes in them.
yeah,
Was that important to him?
very much so. He thrived on the letters, the support, the boxes. We would, come together as a family and put money in to give him what he needed.
Mm.
His ex cleaned out his bank account, took everything, sold the house. He had antiques.
Oh,
I
wow. And
mean,
I know that my
and
mom's been in that for a long time. That's
he had horse. Yeah, he had a horse property. He had horses. He was a good old time country boy. Came down from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
So I'm telling you, I
Shout
get
out
the
to
natural
Snowflake.
O's going on from Minnesota.
Minnesota. Shout out from a snowflake. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, I know how hard I can imagine how hard it is for these
Yeah,
families, for Stephen and Brendan's family,
yeah,
because I know how hard it was for us. We had divide in the family, people saying,
yeah.
well, why would he admit to guilt if he wasn't guilty? You'd have to kill me before you'd say that. And, it's easy for people to say that unless
I
you're in their shoes.
Yep, exactly. Like I always say with Brendan, I mean, there's a lot of circumstance there we do not know. We have no idea. And Brendan just wanted to help, but there's this guy that Tracy had on her during MAM, and he confessed, you know, and he said, you'd be surprised after 12 hours, all you want to do is get away. Yeah, and they twist your mind up. And, he said he knows he confessed, he knows he did wrong, but at that point, he just had given up. I mean, they
Right.
really break you down. Did you find that out? Did they break him down a lot? I mean, did he just say, I'm not going to put my family through this. I'm just going to do this because otherwise they're going to put me away forever, and I'll never have a chance.
Well, my grandpa just tried to keep his head down and do what he was told.
Mm.
Um, oh, I will tell you some inside inside
Well,
info
I'm all ears.
that there was a lot of, okay, so I mentioned to him Orange is the New Black. Is
Oh,
any
yeah.
of that true? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And I explained some of the scenarios, no Netflix in prison, go figure.
Yeah.
But so I had mentioned some of the things about guards bringing in drugs, and he's like, oh yeah, regularly. Cell
Wow.
phones that they would bring in cell phones, and that they would confiscate them from the inmates, and then they would resell them to different inmates.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. The cell
Nope.
phones?
Yep.
How do you hide that? You can't put that up your bum. How do you hide that
I,
during the attack? You know?
I tried to ask for as little nasty detail as I
Yeah,
could.
I get what you're saying because that's your grandfather. You don't want to. I mean, I totally understand that. You know, but I mean, geez, that's really. And what prison was he in? No, baby, you don't want to say. You know what I mean? But that they get in cell phones and they trade it amongst each other.
He
I
was
heard if they
no,
get
I
money,
just
do they
I'm
get
sorry?
money? I heard money when they get money in there, it's like double whatever it is in their hand. Like if it's a 10, it'll really be
Yeah.
worth more than that.
Yeah, there's so much truth to that.
Oh wow. Tell me more. I'm interested.
Well, he said that he caught a guard watching multiple guards watching pornography on their phones.
Wow. When they're
Uh,
supposed to be paying attention to prisoners.
yeah.
Okay. I take it it wasn't like, you know, the castle kind of prison he was in. I mean,
No,
you know,
he
I
was
mean,
he was he was actually at Avenal State Prison. He was in with
I've heard of that place.
uh Charles Manson at one point.
Oh Lord, California.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then Chino Hillsman's prison. They bounced
oh,
him around.
yeah. Do they do that on request for him? Like if he's or do to be closer to the family? Do they you know when they send a kite? Does it do they pay
Well,
attention to prisoners for that, or do they
well,
just?
I know that one of the transfers was a medical transfer because he wasn't getting the proper care that he needed.
Okay. Well, that's terrible to hear that they're not getting the.
Oh my God. So my grandfather went in, had corrective cataract surgeries in both of his eyes, and the something had slipped. So now everything's blurry in his eyes, and they
Oh,
wouldn't help him. And he'd been on a catheter for years
oh my God.
with infection, and they were horrible about it.
Oh Lord, that is terrible because I did long time ago before I even got into this heard about somebody who had kidney failure and they had to be on a dialysis machine and
Yes.
that they actually had prisoners hooking them up. It wasn't even nurses or doctors.
Yep.
That's true too then? Wow.
That's true. They help their own. Once you make friends, you guys are
Yeah.
all looking out for each other.
Well, then I guess
Point.
you really got to make some good friends. You got to find out who's the who and who in there, right? I mean, you got to make yourself to like me. I go right to the straight best Twitter feed there was. Bam, bam, I get them all. I guess you got to do that. Just outsource so you can be in a good shape.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, did you get to speak to him much on the telephone? I know.
Oh, I got hold on one second. My dogs are going nuts. I'm so sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. My dog does it all the time. Being alive and all. Hey, wait a minute. I might just jump out of here. You never even know. You guys got any questions out there, man? Or just Sean? Medical care in the UK prisons is very spartan and not existent. Really, that's terrible. I can't stand that. I mean, I understand some of them are there and they need to be there and all this and that, but you're still a human and you still need to be taken care of. Unless you're a baby raper or something, like you got to go then. I don't care what happens to you. I'll say that out loud. I don't go for that.
Who, no? Oh, I thought you showed up with him.
Oh no! Now you can't talk to me no more.
No. Yes, I can. It's the cousin.
Oh, okay. It's a cousin.
Cousin dropped by.
Guys.
I did try to pull up the YouTube video, but I couldn't mute it, so I just left it in here. But to everyone in the chat, I just want to say hello. I've been reading your comments. So hello, everybody.
They're coming up slow for her though. I'm sure because she's got the StreamYard site and she can't chat because they don't allow
mute my YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I pop my I go up, I put the YouTube on, which you can do. Mute yourself, put that on, then go to the three little corners. Oh, she knocked herself out. Dang it. I must have told her something wrong. Okay. When she comes back on, I just pop mine out, the three little dots at the top, and boop, boop. Then I don't have to worry about the YouTube channel no more. You guys have heard me say this a million times. Hey, Bean Green. How you doing? Let me see who else we got in here. BB. No, I'm making sure nobody else popped in so I didn't miss you outside of basically a lawyer. How you doing, sweetie? Foul play. Good to see you too. You better go out and get your guys, man. Come in
Sorry.
here.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
fine. Don't worry about it. I do. You know what? I do it, and I don't even try. It just goes out, and you'll still be there. Look at that wall, guys. Her
Oh.
boyfriend painted her whole bedroom wall. That
My fiance made me a Van Gogh.
yes.
Check it out.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I love it. I
Okay.
love it. He's good. It doesn't even, you can't even tell. I mean, I thought it was the picture behind you at first. So, you know, but yeah, if you went to the YouTube and pulled it up on another tab, you know, but you got your phone, you just pop it out those three little buttons at the top, you know, the three little dots.
The menu button.
Yep. Push that and it'll say
Okay.
pop up chat. You pop it out, you close out your YouTube, and then your YouTube chat will be on the bottom or whatever, and you can pull it up.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Another time. Okay, I'll just
Okay.
for you. Okay. Hi, Dark
Okay.
Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon's here. Bean Green, foul play. Basically a lawyer.
I see Sean Sharper.
Mode,
Move. I see a
mode.
bunch. Yeah.
Okay. I just, you know, I try to pay attention to the chat while I'm doing this, and I ain't trying to be rude to my guests because some people go, "Why do you just stop talking to your guests and look at the chat?" Well, because they're my guests too. You know, that's how I think about it.
Sure.
Hi, Shar. Okay, so anyway, you were telling us about, like, you know, what goes on in those places. I don't even know how to talk about it.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, you know. You got to fend for yourself, take care of yourself, even though taxpayer money is going to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're criminals, they're unimportant, they don't matter.
Just a number.
So what if they have an infection that could kill them? So what if they're blind, they can't see, they can't read the letters from their family?
They just don't give a crap. Unless you're doing that some favor or something, maybe, huh? I mean, I'm sure there's crooked CEOs. There got to be, you know, let's put it this way. When I went and seen my now passed away husband in Rikers Island, I couldn't believe the stuff that they let by. I was like, whoa, this is something out of a nightmare. So to live that, because I've always wondered, excuse me, I've always wondered as a family member, and you have a wrongfully convicted family member, which you did and do. He has to go around now the rest of his life being a sex offender for something he didn't do. Right. Is there any way you guys can fight that now that he's out?
We are currently in the process of 3 lawsuits.
Good.
With the state, the city, county, the district attorney who bullied him.
Mm-hmm.
There's action absolutely being taken currently.
Are you worried about that, doing that, knowing what happened to Stephen?
No. Okay. No, I'm not. He's already he is already signed out. He's up in Idaho. He just got up there.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know, maybe a month ago.
Stephen was out too, and he was going to sue, and then, you know, so
you know, at this point, my grandpa's willing to risk it because he's as old as he is. He lived as much of his life as 18 years in there.
He just wants to stick it to him.
Very much so. They basically abused him in there by not taking care of him.
They did a lot for yourself. You know, first of all, he's somebody who didn't do anything, and then to have that kind of charge when you didn't do it, it's really a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I don't know what it feels like, so I can't sit there and say I know how it feels. I don't.
Right.
But I can't, and I really can't even imagine it because I don't think that way. But I want to tell you that even the thought of that, for me, it's too much. It's way overwhelming. I cannot imagine it. I mean, my husband needed to be where he was at. That's all I can say. You needed to be there. You know what I mean? But anybody who spends a minute behind bars or detained in a room being questioned and all this and that, you know, with no hard evidence at all. And then you tell the story like Brendan did, and then they get the evidence. I mean, that has to happen in other places, obviously. You know,
all over, all the time.
God, I just feel so bad for your grandfather. That's just terrible. Well, you know what? When you talk to him, you tell him, he is a Superman. He survived something that most of us couldn't imagine doing. And then now he's out and he's okay for it. And he's going to stick it to him. And I like that. And if I could, darn it, I did it. She did it again. She's either doing it or it's doing it to her. But I don't think so because I'm still here, guys. This is what we want. Truth. I can't be up here by myself. You know, I cannot reflect. Zoe, I know you're there. See me? Do you see me now? Getting a little nervous. She's not back. Oh my gosh. Maybe it's her connection or something. Or is she writing in the chat? No, maybe. Anyway, there she is. Hello.
You know what? Somebody wrote me a message on Facebook and took me out of the link.
Well, who's ever doing that better stop it.
I'd just like to say to all friends that I did not announce this to. It was so last minute and unplanned.
It was. And in fact, why don't you tell them what really happened? You said, Linda, what are you doing? You want to do that?
Oh my God. So I said, Linda, you got time right now.
And I was like, right now. 5 minutes later, here we are. Yeah, because I'm standing here when you go out, and I'm like, usually I can talk my way through it. I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit nervous. My anxiety's going really high. I will tell people how I feel, okay? Because I am not perfect, and I have very, very. Oh, you're sorry to hear that. My Google's sorry to hear that.
You know what, Google? Thanks for the sympathy. I'll take it.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll tell you. I have very bad anxiety. I have very bad social anxiety. So for me to do this at all, it's crazy. So all of you people that say, oh, I can't do it, I'm too nervous. You're talking to somebody who suffers this anxiety very bad all the time and no medication, can't you tell?
Well, I am just proud of you.
Well, thank you. And I think this is a good way to overcome it. It does help.
Yes.
But when I'm stuck alone, I can't. I'm like, deer in headlights. Deer in headlights. But I do give a lot of myself. You know, I try to just be myself. Like, that's what I want you to be. And I don't know. I guess I'm really nervous about your grandfather. I feel so bad for you. It hits me hard when I hear that people have spent a lot of years of their life in jail, in prison, and you lost your grandpa, who you were probably very close to at the age of 12. And
yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. So is it on your mom's side or your dad's side?
It was my mom's dad.
Okay. So how did she take it?
She was devastated. My mom is one of 4 siblings, and 3 which are still alive. Mm-hmm. And my mom is the youngest, and she was the one that was responsible for everything. She was the one to get it together, make it happen, go to all the lawyers, do what needed to be done. So my mom went through this long period of time of just a bunch of heavy, extra, unnecessary weight.
Yes. It's like I so many questions going on in my head. Okay. When did he have a jury trial, or did he just take a deal?
No, he took the deal.
Okay. Would he have been prepared to go to a jury trial? Do you know?
He couldn't financially afford it.
Okay, so it was just basically he got shit on because he got no money. Because
absolutely,
public defenders, they are forced to do so many hours per month or year or whatever it is, and when they do that, they don't care. They don't even probably look at your case until you are just going to go into court. I mean, I've heard of that. I've heard of them saying, I'm just now going into court, and here you are, you're going to be in front of them, and they haven't even discussed your case. They don't even probably know your middle name. I mean, he was talking for Brendan about plea deals and shit, and didn't even meet him yet. So did your dad, or your grandfather, get to talk to his lawyer at all? Was it somebody that even showed a little bit of interest?
It was a public defender, and he didn't give a shit.
What's his name? We got to make sure he gets good advertisement.
Well, I'm not going to put his dad out there.
But, this is the list of do not go to.
Yes.
I'm ready to, FYI, people, I'm doing public service announcement.
I'll say he's a retired Riverside County district attorney.
Well, okay, just remember when you're in Riverside, California, that you do not want to be in trouble. So get what you got to get and get your butt out of there.
It was actually, check this out. It was actually at a time where Riverside County was having a bunch of lawsuits for the same thing.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Can't they use that? I suppose you probably tried that. Did he even want to appeal, or did you try to appeal?
He wanted to. He was just so beat down and defeated by the whole thing. You
Yeah.
lose your motivation,
Yeah, you figure out who's going to listen to me. You know what I mean? I'm innocent. I'm really innocent, and nobody's hearing me. They're
Yeah.
You got lawyers saying things to judges that you do not even have a clue of what that terminology means. Okay, you don't really know that that's going to be. Oh, is that really going to be the deal I get? Because it's not up to him. He can say it to you. He can present it to the judge, but is that going to happen?
Right.
You're on such a risk factor. It's not even 50-50. It's like 90 10. Yeah, you know, it's
Yeah.
hmm.
And as aged or seasoned as my grandfather was, how bad it was for him, and he'd lived his life. He'd done things. He'd taught, he dealt with losing a son. He mentally
Oh
was a
wow,
little bit more experienced. And poor Brendan, that child,
no
just,
experience.
emotionally just being tossed around like a rag doll. I mean, he'd just been walked all over, not believed, words thrown into his mouth,
Yeah,
and there's no evidence tying him to anything, nothing.
and there won't be anything to get him out either because he can't unhear his words. I mean, unless the governor says something, I just don't. I always keep referring back to Dream Killer, and I'm not. Believe me, I'm the biggest Brendan supporter there is. I have no. They are not innocent. He does not need to be there. He is so precious, and there's no way that boy did anything.
Yes.
Not even any. We all know that. But now that Steven's getting this chance with Zellner because he's got a good lawyer and she is the best, and go KZ, you know what I mean? I have faith
Yeah.
in her. And even if she gets him out, it's not a guarantee Brendan's going to get out.
Yeah, that's really one of the things that just
It's so
totally
sad. But I will
sucks.
fight till my last dying breath because I was thinking about it. And if he spends his whole time in there, I'm not going to be around when he gets out. But I will fight till the end for sure.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just
And
so worth it.
I was a senior in high school
Mhm.
when when this happened. I graduated June of 2006, and I remember hearing about the case here in California, and hearing about Brendan, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, so that year I doubted Brendan's guilt. I doubted Steve's guilt too, but I wasn't so focused on him because I was 18. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It,
I did you want to like get like your supporters in here, right? So did you want to do this for your grandfather? Like, come on, guys, let's dig into this, or did you not want to
I
put it out there?
Once I'd seen the first episode of Making a Murder, and I watched him, deal with the wrongful conviction, and to no blame of Penny at all,
Right.
none whatsoever. But he dealt with that, and that touched me greatly. And then to
Mhm.
watch Brendan's confession, quote unquote, bullshit
Yeah.
coercion,
Right.
I watched that, and then I had an emotional breakdown, and I had to explain to my fiance why.
Yeah.
And so that was basically what I associated the connection, and it made me want to stay on because I couldn't get that from my grandpa. I couldn't
Right.
help clear his name.
Right. So it
I
made
wasn't
you
even
just
a
want to go for this. And you
yes.
do a great job. You do. I mean, you're definitely a truth seeker and a justice driver. You know what I'm saying? So,
Thank you.
and I bet that makes your grandfather proud, doesn't it? I mean,
He is.
that you're doing this.
I talked to him about what I do and how I've come across a very large, wide range group of people
Whack
with
job,
with
mamaholics.
with lots of things in common,
Yeah.
and I let him know that I had been requesting FOIAs from different states and locations, and I tried to get his information and what I'm doing and how I was, I don't,
Oh, he's got to be
how
proud of
we were
you.
able to get some information out there that that made me feel good to be a part of that.
Hmm. Yeah. Because
It's just a
yeah,
piece of the team.
It's like you're
How
giving
often?
your grandfather something back too that he missed
Yes,
out, you know? I mean,
yes.
it's
It's
like
like a
showing
second
that you
chance.
were there. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's
It,
great. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people and they've never they haven't had this like firsthand, you know, why were you waiting so long to talk to me?
I'm nervous.
Well, you know, I'm telling you, I I'm a nervous wreck. Okay, my heart's beating. I'm just like, you know, I just keep talking because that helps me get away with it. But
Yes.
I suffer terribly from anxiety. And just before we go on, I'm like, oh God, I can't do it. No, just shut it off. You know, your mind tells you all that stuff. You know. But once I'm on here and I'm just talking, to me, it's only you and me. I know the chat's there, but I try not to pay attention until I am going to talk because otherwise it gets me all confused.
Right.
And during Marathon, when I had 100
Yeah.
some people, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, there's 100 people watching. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to a small group and they watch later most of the time, you know? And I guess
Right.
everybody says, Linda, just be prepared for more things to get bigger, you know? And I'm like, well, I got mods. I'll double wrench. Here you go, guys.
Yes.
You know?
Have them
It
get
is
her
good.
done so you can keep
Yeah,
it going.
yeah. Because, you know, you get controversy. You know what I mean? So if
Absolutely.
somebody would tell you, oh, he's guilty, he did it, he belongs there, like from your family, apparently, what did you do? How did you handle
Um,
that?
well, to be honest, my dad was one of those people.
Wow.
Because as a man, from his perspective, he couldn't understand that. And, you know, I could hear his point of view
Mhm.
and it sounds right, but when you stop and you think about it, you know, do it every day because they're afraid to spend 100 years in prison. They're afraid to spend the rest of their life away
Yeah,
from their family. People would rather admit to something they didn't do and get time that they know is a guaranteed amount of time
yeah, they
rather
know what
than
they're going out.
possibly, yeah, to possibly go to trial and possibly get, life or death or
Mhm.
all of the above.
It's just the unknown. And it's just so unfair because you don't really get to speak for yourself. You have a
Yeah.
lawyer who's not saying what you want to be said. I mean, watching Stevens, I'm only guesstimating here because I wasn't there and I don't know, and I'm not in Stevens' head. But as I see some of these things unfolding in his trial, you could see him sitting there going, what? Please say this. Say, why aren't you sticking? You know what I mean? Like when Bobby was up there and he's looking at him going, you know, I mean, it's like, you know what I
I'm
mean?
sorry. I'm not trying to laugh. It just makes something
No, I'm
ridiculous.
just, you know, I get what you're laughing about, but I'm just saying, you know, and some of them people, like, I mean, I'm sorry. I respect Teresa. I know I don't ever forget her and I want peace for her. But her
Yes.
family showed nothing. When they said, this is Karen Hallbach's daughter in a pizza box, I about died crying. And
Yeah.
sitting there, and there was, I understand the part of they train them not to show emotion, but how can you cut it off completely like that? I mean, that's your daughter in a box, and they're told her like this big. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're talking about murdering and you know mutilating and raping and slicing and cutting of hair and all this other stuff that none of it was true that we know of. Okay, at least not at that location. Okay, and not with them two guys. But to hear that, you know, and you were a family member, and you know what I mean.
Yep.
So how how can you justify not showing emotion? I don't understand that. Do you really
What?
just knew it was coming
No,
and
I'm doing it.
doesn't act like, you know, just like, well, okay, well, we knew it was coming or, you know, whatever, just accept it. Or maybe because they're a Catholic and they're supposed to be steadfast, you know, don't do this, raised old school. I don't know. It just, I have a really hard time with the emotion part from the family or from any family.
Yeah. Yeah. It, it's it's hard.
Yeah,
I had to tell my dad he knew nothing and that was his opinion and there were no facts to prove it
right.
and he
And
needed
because
to
she
kind
was
of
already having a relationship with an older kid
yeah,
and she didn't want to give herself
absolutely.
up, you
Yep.
know,
And they didn't know that. I
and if
knew
they would
that
have known that, they
I
would have
knew
done
that she was
DNA.
dating somebody older and they were sexually active because she was close with me. And her mom knew, but nobody else knew. You know what I mean? I actually
Oh
had
yeah,
information that could have helped.
yeah, because that guy should have been in there instead of your grandpa.
Yeah.
If that is what they were
And
gonna do.
I when I knew he was getting out and I needed to somebody, all the rest of the family had left California. It was just me here. So I had to go and
By
visit him and prepare
yourself?
him. Yeah, and talk to
Okay.
him about what was going to happen, where he was going to be, XYZ and whatnot. And I got the opportunity and I said, look, I love you. I've never questioned you. I said, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing myself a favor or you a favor by me not asking you, did it happen?
Yeah, you had to know.
Did
Just had to hear it from
did
us. Even
did
though
you
you
do
lied,
it? Yeah. And I told him I didn't want to upset him and make him, feel any
think that you
kind of
didn't
way,
believe in
but
it.
I felt like I deserved to know. I deserved an answer.
Right.
Um
And when he
and
looked at you and
he
told you that, you knew even more,
he
right? That he
looked
was
at me and didn't he looked at me, opened his mouth, and he didn't even have to say a word because I knew. I felt so stupid
like,
after
yeah.
asking, but I needed to.
Well, you needed to clear
And
the air and get it, Yeah,
yeah,
I
I just
understand
needed
that.
to.
I do.
Yeah.
I really
And
do.
I haven't looked back on it. He's grateful to be out. He's happy. He was, oh my god. So they were giving him bullshit requirements afterwards, the
Yeah, I was gonna
check-ins,
ask you, what does he have to do for his like parole, or does he
well,
have to
every
work?
every week to 2 weeks he was going in for a lie detector test because they wanted him to admit that he did it
Oh my gosh.
after he'd
Why is
already
that?
spent 18 years in prison and was already deemed guilty. They still wanted him to say it.
They won't let people out on parole if they don't admit to their non-crime. So
And well, he looked at it. It was wonderful. My grandpa, he doesn't swear, but he
that's
told
what
me afterwards. he looked that interviewer in the eye and he said, "I will never say yes again because it never happened. I was bullied into it the first time. You motherfuckers will never hear those words come out of my mouth again."
yeah. I got asked to say that Stephen and Brendan were, you know what, that bad word. I said,
Oh,
that'll
the
be my
B word.
dying. I wouldn't say that on my dying day if you had a gun to my head and said, bitch, say that now or you're dead. I'd say, kill me. Because I don't believe it and I would
You
never say
know,
it.
you know
Especially
what?
publicly.
I can't say that I would never say it if there were actual evidence to back it up.
Oh, okay.
You would have to do, you know what I mean?
Yes, I would.
But until they prove that shit, he's innocent, wrongfully convicted. Both of
Okay.
them sit there.
You tell me what evidence you looked at that pointed that way. I'll
Oh,
wait
for
for you.
fuck's sake.
That's what I mean. Okay. Everybody says, "Oh, you're duped about this documentary. You just believe it a documentary." No, actually, the documentary pissed me off, and because I live right
Yes.
next door to that state, I said, "This is shit don't happen." Everybody's heard my story a million times, so I won't go into it. But it just made me want to dig in and find out.
Yes.
That's all
Yes.
it did. It just piqued my curiosity because I'll tell you something right now. There's no way in hell if somebody would have told me 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, that I'd be sitting here right now talking to you or anybody else on the freaking internet where anybody can see me talking about this shit, because
Right.
I'd have never did it. Never in a million years. I didn't even know it happened. I was under the rock in the cave way down there with dinosaurs when all this was going on. It was that much of a shock to me. You had it introduced to you at 12 years old. So
Yeah.
at
I
12
was
years old till
oh
now, I'm not going to ask your age. It's none of my business. You're
I'm 32. I'm
okay.
32
So
years old.
you've seen these stages. Did you pay attention to it when you were younger because of having somebody there? Did you notice it more, or was it like the documentary that made you dig into it that really opened your eyes to it?
No, ever since I understood where my grandpa actually was, because for years the mail would come and when I would collect it from the apartment complex mailbox and I would see the CDCF or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, and
Jewish Department of something.
my mom would tell me that my grandpa was in a hospital.
Oh
So
wow.
so
Wow,
because
that's
I was
cool.
12 and my sister was 6, and he was at the hospital. And after about a year of getting the mail, I was like, "This, I don't, I don't believe you." And she told me the truth. But right after my grandpa was arrested, my dad took me to our apartment complex basketball court, and we were shooting hoops like we do regularly. And he very casually and very smart, and as a good dad, was asking me, "Hey, I just wanted to know if anybody in our family has ever made you feel uncomfortable, if anyone has ever maybe held you a little bit too tight or too long, or if you ever felt like somebody was touching you somewhere you shouldn't be, whether it's me or grandpa or uncle, or I mean," and he went through a list, and I just told him no. I mean, no,
That's what I did
nobody's
with my
ever.
kids because I
And it
come
was,
from that.
yeah, it was very it, it was kind and direct and guarded, but so important. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
It was
right. And if
it
you had
was
a daughter, you would, or a son, you would do the same
ab-
thing. Because
absolutely.
I did with my kids, and at a very young age, they knew what I looked at them. I said, if I'm doing it, if I'm doing it, you talk to whoever until they hear you, and you get away from me because I'm sick. That's what I told them, you know. So, and I said, and it's not your fault if it happens. So don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't
Yes.
tell your mommy, because you can tell your mommy anything, because I will love you no matter what. If you go over and you punch that little boy in the face, I'm going to give you a spanking, but I'll still love you. And that's what I said, you know. Like I
Yep.
said, no warning label, and I really don't know. Nobody came with instructions either when they came, when I boarded them. So I was like, how do you do this? You just go by what happened to me. I didn't want to happen to them. And I remember
Yes.
thinking, how can I talk to what would have made me talk and tell? And I think it would have just, what it was just somebody coming to me and saying, if this happens to you. But nobody, it was like, nah, you don't say that,
Right.
It's so you were aware of this, and they made you aware of this, and you're aware
Yeah.
of grandpa being in there, and for what he was, you learned that at an older age, though, right?
And
When
since 13, when I learned he was in prison, since I learned about that, and then a little bit afterward is
you learned,
when I think I was 16 when I actually learned what it was about.
were you shocked?
And yeah, because I knew it wasn't true. I knew it was absolute bullshit. And my poor grandpa,
Right.
I
So
just horrible. So from then on, I was obsessed with true crime TV, Law and
yeah,
Order, uh,
true
anything. I
crime
mean, the
reporter. Here we go.
Lifetime.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the
right.
Lifetime shit. Anything I could watch and
Yeah.
understand. Even the stuff about the inappropriate touching or whatever, because I kind of
Mhm.
wanted to understand the mentality that went into that.
Right.
To you
Well, you're
know,
better than me, because I think there's DNA. Something didn't make the strand right or something, and you can't fix it.
well, I think it could be environmental. What you're surrounded by, what you know.
Could be. I don't
You
know.
know, you are what you know. You kind of are what you live. So
Yeah,
you
I
build
guess
from
then
that.
we would
It's
really have a debate on that, because
oh
at
well, I
one
mean,
point in life, you have choices, and you either like what you've been seeing and you know what's right, or you change that. Because
no, I
I grew up
agree,
very
but
dysfunctional. Okay, I'll tell you, very, very
for
dysfunctional, and I
for
didn't want
sure. But
that.
I
So you
mean,
either fight
all the
with it or you roll with
experiences.
it. Do you think it's comfortability, like you just roll with it? Like me, I wasn't, and I just wanted to fight against it. Some people are
Right,
just, oh, this is life, and this is how it is supposed to be.
right.
They
But
don't
I
know.
think I think I mean all those experiences help build you to who you are. You are
Yeah,
everything, whether it's negatively or positively impacted you,
right.
becomes a part of you, and you
Great.
live and you grow from there.
Very good. That is very true. Very true. It makes you a warrior or a doormat, you know? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but there's people that would
No, for
close their eyes and say, it's okay. I
yes,
wake up every day. I got my food. I go to my work. I come back home. I don't care. Okay.
that's
I
one of
don't
my
care.
biggest things. I see something, I say something. I cannot stand when people are being bullied. I cannot stand when there's an injustice. I
Yeah.
can't stand when there are lies being put out there.
Yep. And when it happens to you, being the way you feel about that,
Yeah.
You know what? I always like, I want to go and tell him it's not me, it's not me, and I want to fight and stick up for myself. But you know what? And I came to this like epiphany just the other day, and I'm 57 years old. So for me to have an epiphany like that, it's a write it down day. You know what I mean? So I honestly said, those who know me, I don't have to explain a thing. Those who
Right.
don't know me and I have to explain, I don't want to know you.
Excuse me.
I just, that's the way it is. If you have to sit there and explain to somebody that you apparently have a friendship with and they doubt you on it, well, then maybe we aren't friends really in the long run. And there was a different agenda. I'm finding a lot of agendas here lately.
Yeah.
Now, my agenda is truth and justice and freedom for the guys and anybody else that I look up in, because I want to get into some other, wrongful convictions. Tracy kind of got a fire under my butt, seeing some positivity about people that especially gave their confession. It was nice to know that he got out.
Yeah.
And you got your grandpa, and he's your insight on that
Yes.
insight. So you know how Stephen feels like on the inside, and you know how his family feels on the outside. So you're really at an advantage. I
Alone
mean, I
and
know what it's like
isolated.
in prison, but they needed to be there. So I don't, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah,
different mindset.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Brent Stephen was a different case. I just felt like, here he is. He got exonerated. Here comes the lawsuit. Things are going to work out for him.
Yeah.
Depositions are in progress. They're happening. Justice is going to happen. And then, boom. Just kidding. Like, we got you back, Steven. You're not going anywhere. You're not getting any big money. We're pinning this on you. We are taking you down. Oh, your sound is off.
There we go, being Linda.
Sorry, I didn't.
They had, I mean, why? Why do that to a 16-year-old kid? And for Fassbender to sit there and say, I'm not a psychologist, I didn't know. You can look at Brendan. You can watch his behavior. And don't tell me that's the read technique, because that is, that might be their read technique. But if you're so much better of an investigator, you'd have seen. You fed him every single thing. It was all planned. I can't even think of it any other way. And people say, well, I'm reading this report and this and that. I'm like, and you're believing them? Because
Yeah, they.
at this point, I have come to the conclusion that even reading a document that they write, it's a lie. It's a fucking lie, because
Yes.
puts a goddamn diversion or what a deviant, whatever that paper was, before she even had the bullet on her desk, apparently. Okay, well then now they got the rabbit and the third, but they really didn't get it until the 7th or the 8th or whatever day that was. You know what I mean? It's just none of it makes any sense. You're a cop. You're supposed to be writing down the right shit. You ain't doing that. You should leave your job. Well, this is a murder, a missing persons investigation. And you quit looking for a girl when you found her freaking car.
Yeah. How do you do that? And how is all of a sudden the Jonda
They're
number
on their
needed
property
Steve?
for that many days, not looking for Teresa? They're on
Yeah.
Steven's property looking for. What is that?
I mean, I think you would have to literally, to have a real conversation about anything, have to break it down from moment to moment, because so much shit went on. You just want to talk about X and Y and Z, and they fucked up the whole alphabet.
I want
to ruined it.
If you could go back in time, Linda, where would you go? And this was, I go October 31st, 2005. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly where I'll go. And I'll go to Manitowoc, and I would follow them around all day long, so I would know what happened. Because at this point, I don't think we're ever going to know, because the cops covered up, they planted, and I believe they covered up, and I believe they, and I'm more and more thinking that they came across that stuff and just said, hey, look who's over there. And you know who's going to be deposed tomorrow is our boss. So let's go over and save his ass.
Well, I totally agree with you on that whole so what thing, because didn't Kratt say so what if they planted evidence?
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't that that in his closing statement?
Okay, how do you unring that bell? You cannot unring a bell. You said, so what if we planted this? Well then, okay, so what if you planted the blood that every guilter sticks on forever? If you are anybody that has a brain cell that even has a little doo-doo to it, you can see that is you put that Q-tip on there and you go, and it makes that birdie like thing, It's cotton. The bullet, she's not made out of wood, and there's cotton on there. No, make no sense.
The dustless bullet amongst
The
the whole
dustless
dusty
bullet.
garage.
You all remember though, that garage was completely cleaned out. Did they find it then?
Yeah.
They were aluminum, doing all that stuff there. Oh, here's one. Mark this. You can see them in that thing. Mark this. There ain't nothing there.
I mean, how do they excuse
Transmission
with
fluid,
all those different times they went back? How many times did they need to check the one single space, the mattress, the carpet? Where's the rape didn't happen now? It's so hard to follow everything. No, none of her DNA was there. Really?
Right. No hair. There was one in the RAV. No hair, but one left in the RAV. So you tell me how good you are investigating, buddy.
Yeah. Their documentation or lack thereof their pictures are a joke. Damn. How did they not get a clean image of the VIN number? Just saying.
Yeah. Look, it's just saying. Do you know what day it is? Is it night or day? Is it light out or is it not? Is it 6:30 in the morning or 8:30 at night? They can't screw me on them times. You know what I mean? Because I live in that part of the country. I know what it looks like. Now, I got to ask you because you probably know. I was looking at a picture of the RAV, and it's in a parking lot. They're going to put it in a box or put it in the, in the box. It's got the tape on it on the windows, which they didn't do from Avery Salvage Yard. But just saying. And you look at the RAV, and behind it is green trees and green grass. And that's not happening in November. Sorry to tell you, I live on the north, and there's no trees, leaves left. There's no grass. It's brown, and there's not a damn leaf on a tree, unless it's a pine tree. So,
yeah,
I can't explain that. I can't explain a lot of things, and I'm hearing more and more and more and more. It just keeps. This is like the ever never-ending song. It just on and on and on all day long.
Oh, the song that never ends. Lamb chop.
I didn't want to say it because I was thinking about it all night.
It's been a shit show from day one. The investigation, the call. They're like, oh well, it looked like Zippers was the last stop, and on their phone call, all of a sudden, what? It was Avery's. Oh, really?
Well, the missing calling there wasn't her calling him.
Insane.
She lost ping at what 240 or something like that. What was it, 247 or something like that? It was last time her phone pinged or whatever. Yep. So I don't. Hi, Eric Cozy. I don't understand any of their documentation. I don't believe any of it. At this point, it's like you're reading it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that. And Queso, how can you even? You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's partial truth with their extensions of their lie to make the truth. I've never seen a case where the prosecuting attorney says, well, I'm not going to give you a narrative right now. I won't do that till we're done. Right, because then you'll know how it went, right, Ken? You're going to have, you make sure you have somebody in your secretary taking notes for you, asshole, so you know exactly what went down.
He knew his story would change too many times.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't find a bullet all that whole time. Then they talked to Brendan one day and they go, okay, Brendan. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it, Brendan. We know who shot her in the head. Oh, he did.
Jesus.
And then what happens? They put him away in a cell, put Stephen in lockdown, and they go get the bullet.
Can I ask what you think is on the bullet? There's been talks about chapstick, about her pap smear cells.
I think that what is on the bullet is the ballistic wax.
Okay.
Yes, I've seen what they do with it, and they have to actually put it in. You know that stuff that on MAM 2 that they showed them shooting through when the guy. Okay, well that's kind of what it is with sticky, and it will hold the bullet in place so they can take the other one and turn it into it without that one turning while it's under a microscope. So I do believe that could be the wax, but they don't have no cotton swabs. And they don't have no wood in that. So there you go. I do believe that could have been from their testing or, the ballistics. But and honestly, it doesn't even really look like that bullet fits that. So, kind of like the tooth that didn't fit, they glued. So, I mean, who knows? but definitely she wasn't Pinocchio, and Ryan wasn't Geppetto. So I don't understand it. What do you think it is? I mean, this pap smears thing, I can't even go there. Okay, I'll just tell you that right now.
I just, in all honesty, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't have an opinion on it because I don't think I'm informed enough about it to make it.
Everybody else is. It's all speculation, sweetheart.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
good.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of her chapsticks.
They could have. They did take it. I mean,
I mean, what if it was DNA from her vibrator that they took? They had to have that purple dildo.
I just wanted to borrow it for a while. But when they put it in the on that ballistics wax, it doesn't go on the top though. So see what I mean? It doesn't. It's not like going to be embedded. So if it was embedded under there, I cannot remember exactly if it was or wasn't. That could be, from chapstick, and they would get a very good DNA profile off of that, from her chapstick because it went right on her lips. So, I don't know, but the DNA thing, or I mean the pap smear thing. I know everybody's going to think I'm closed-minded. I'm not, but I want to say one thing: if you think that it's not her pap smear, why do you think they would want somebody else's when they're trying to prove it's Teresa? I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not, but I'm just saying you got to wonder why they would want somebody else's when they're trying to prove that was Teresa, and that's what they were using it for. So they could have got her pap smear, and it could be somebody else's bones, but they only tested the pap smear and not the bones. That I can see. Yes,
right.
I can see that, but I do believe it's hers.
I don't really question the pap smear integrity. I mean, wasn't Ryan who suggested it or said she'd just gotten one done or something? I'm not totally.
Yeah, there's some things in the, we all have our parts we want to dig into, well, of course I was stupid and I went right down the rabbit hole for about 2 years. I ain't been the same since, but I do know the difference between the colors. And I mean, and there's logical reasoning for a lot of the things I've heard, but I've heard some bizarre things too. Not that that's wrong.
Explanation.
Because this is so bizarre that everything everybody says could be possible. I mean, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, but that's the sad thing. It's 2020. We don't know what the fuck happened.
Right.
We're still guessing because at trial it wasn't clear. At Brendan's trial it wasn't clear. There were 2 different scenarios.
And for the same crime. Same person. One person killed him.
Yeah.
How do they get away with saying it was one person that killed her and then they go and try somebody else for the same thing? And even more, mutilation of body, a rape, and kidnapping. That's what Brendan got. And Stephen got murder, So he didn't get the mutilation or the rape or anything. You know what I mean? So what is going on?
How does that make sense? How does that even legally happen with no DNA?
I don't know. Somebody would have to tell me how that works.
Jeez. That's confusing.
J-Jack says, at Linda K listening, we or someone needs to FOIA the pap smear paperwork. It doesn't exist. Wow, that's kind of funny. Then maybe do you think they were making it up? There might not be one at all, and they made it up.
For which paper?
Sherry Cohen has those slides. She's a DNA tester. She can have those slides, so she could have just put 2 slides together and put it with hers. You know what I mean? Might not even be anything. I have no idea. I'm just trying to read some of the chat and see if we got some questions. They're watching, ma'am. Okay, come on, guys, get in the chat. No, I'm kidding. I just like to tease my chat too. I don't talk about that guy right there. The THUMP. I don't talk about him. he bothers me too much.
Mammoth, you don't know who you're gonna piss off. You don't know who's gonna get upset. You just don't want to go political.
I don't. I you know what? There's a red, there's a blue, then there's the middle, and it turns purple. That's all I gotta say. I'm right in the middle. I'm purple all the way. I don't do it. You find too many angry people, and they have their right to stick to what they believe. As I'm saying this, I don't want anybody to take offense because I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in everybody using their, giving me their theories, their speculations, whatever they want. I'm very open to
Right?
listen.
What?
I will never put anybody down for it because we do not know. I don't have the answers. That's for sure. I am in wonder how they continue to get away with this. Don't the new people that are going to come in office see this and go, "Oh, I don't think I want to be a part of this." Like Lisa Winter, I don't want to be a part of this. Bye, see you guys. You
I,
take this on
I
yourself.
this is such a case of what not to do from start to finish.
Yes, it is. What do you think about the AG saying, I don't want a part of this"? That Lisa Winter saying, "Bye." I mean, she was in and out.
I think it's a bunch of shit, and she's hiding.
Mm,
She doesn't want to have to give a. She doesn't want to have to be held responsible for her own involvement or response to something. I think she's just trying to keep herself as far away from it as she possibly can.
right. Do you think that is that how it would? Anybody that's working on it now, would they be like accountable, or do you think they would have to,
No,
go
I wouldn't think so because, I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't think so because they weren't part of,
right?
prior. And the last, who was it that the last attorney, one of the last attorneys that the state had,
Oh, that
left.
lady.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she shouldn't be held accountable for anything.
right. Lisa with Lisa Winters. And
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on Fallon taking sabbatical and his lawyer doing it all on purpose?
Hashtag sabbatical. He is a
Yeah.
coward running.
Do you
He
think it's
is,
because it's close to his retirement and
I
um,
think he knows that he has some involvement.
some? I think he has a lot of involvement there.
Well, but you know
Mhm.
what I mean? For
I know.
whatever small amount he's willing to admit, he has ownership in this and he's
Yeah.
trying to avoid it.
Do
He
you
does
think his
not
lawyer
want to
did that
pay the
on purpose?
piper.
Do you think his lawyer did that on purpose?
I think I do. I think
I
they
do
told
too.
him to
I
sit down and shut up.
Yeah, I honestly think when he called, because you're gonna know it's Zellner's law. Don't tell me you didn't hear that. You're driving
Yeah.
in a car, right? Uh-huh. Okay,
He's
out the
just
door.
such a tricky bastard anyway, making deals or knowing damn well what is and isn't there,
Mhm.
playing a game.
Yeah, with the bones, you can test. You can test the ram. You can test the bones. There's no bones. How are you gonna test no bones? They gave them
Yeah.
away. And
They give you some bird bones here.
you know what? There was one that looked like a chicken bone in there for real. I don't know what human
Mm-hmm.
bones look like that because I don't know if they're that small. I don't know if your knuckle bone looks like that. I have no idea. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. To me, it looked like a little leg bone. I mean, like what you eat out of a drumstick or something. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Teresa or anybody,
No,
but
it's
that,
what it looks like.
yeah. So is that why you think because some of them are so distinctly different than the other ones that's why there was possible human? Because
I
to me, the bones that were really charred and flat and small and all that would have been human, and the chicken bone I would definitely questioned.
okay, so my thought process on it is, if they did put them there, if then they put them there, I think, without question or doubt as to who they belong to. If
Oh,
I mean,
yes. Yes,
that's
most
my
definitely. Yep.
opinion.
Mhm.
Otherwise, why? Why
Yeah,
plant the bones? Why plant the blood?
right.
Why? I believe it is a case of planting. There, his blood in that Rav. Not people have pissed me off with this one.
Yeah.
I just can't understand how it at one point with her continuing to bleed and his wound bleeding in the front but not in the back, and how is there
No mixture.
none of their blood together at any point in the front or the back? Uh,
Well,
it,
yeah. How about the key? No DNA of hers. I'm so sorry. And this is another thing. You cannot open up that RAV without a fob. That back door, don't open. There's no release in front. There's no key that goes in there. It's a fab. That's a way or fob or whatever you call that thing. Where did they get that? You don't get that
yes,
name.
yes.
You cannot open that RAV that year at all, because that was the first year they started all that safety stuff where, because kids were falling out of vehicles and all that stuff, they're starting to really get down on seatbelts and car seats, and you know what I mean. And you cannot open up that cargo door without a fob. How does that happen? And I have a friend who has one of them cars, and she said, you cannot, I cannot, I had to bust my window out.
Yeah, I just
To get
a
her
quick
keys that were inside, you know?
a quick intervention. I mean, a moment to just shout out to my bitches.
Go right ahead.
That's that. No, that's it. Shout out to my bitches.
Shout
And
out to
I just wanted.
the
So,
we all know who you are.
well, I mean, I don't want them to think I'm not loving on them. So,
Listen, we love
talking
everybody in the
shit
chat.
behind the scenes, they are.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to pay attention to the chat. You know, I try very hard, but I try to do it when I'm basically kind of done, you know, and we'll take questions, you know. And that's if somebody's giving a presentation. We're chatting. You want to come up? Say so. Come on up. You know
Oh
what I mean?
no, I was getting private messages on Twitter of
Oh well,
they're
then
pulling my leg.
you better be over here watching.
That's what's up.
But
So,
over here.
who do you think was responsible for the key found in Steven's room?
Oh, well, I just happened to say, well, whoever walked out and come in and go, oh, there's a key, and it fell at the same time you pointed. Link.
Yeah, okay.
Kaboom, bada boom, boom.
I
Kids did one of them. Did you see that? The kids planted the key.
Oh, that was so funny. That little video they made.
I honestly do think it was Link. I think that he, you know, Colburn's over there shaking and rattling the, you know, cupboard of Nadia, you know,
Just
and
shook the dickens out of that thing.
rape, you know, cut throat and poked her stomach and cut her hair. And he's sitting on that raping bed looking at paperwork. Okay,
Right. Okay,
and
that was Jacobs, right?
No, that was, you know, Mr. Alien. Kachowski, or whatever his name is.
Whatever, that guy. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, I call him Baby Huey. But anyway, he was sitting on bed while that's going on, looking at his paper. And in comes Mr. Link, and he goes, hey, look there's a key. And as he pointed, the key just happened to drop.
Yeah. I mean, he knows what happened. Kacharsky. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, Kacharsky. When he first got there, he says, Alien Boy goes, well, it wasn't there when I got there. Okay, well, that's telling.
He knows what happened.
Well, he might not have seen it. I think Colburn knew what was going to happen and probably said, hey, Kacharsky, look at this book in here or something. And he looked that way. You know what I mean? If that would have had to be that way, I could see it happening. There's no way that, and then they want to tell you that it didn't fall out and to the side. It fell out and stuck in there. And then they got it out and took a picture of it and on the floor.
It was a magnetic
moving evidence, which you can't take pictures for. So you're messing with the crime scene. You're a cop. You don't know that? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it.
I totally get what you're saying. I don't understand any of the evidence or the lack of proper storage. You know,
okay, well,
like
they test the latch, but they don't test the latch. You know what I'm saying? They don't test the latch on the inside, but they test the latch on the outside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the latch for under the hood.
Yeah, how you open it up.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm sure, because when you go outside, you know, some of them that sweaty sweat's going to dry up. So when he was in the car, that sweat had to be real good, and he probably would have left puddles of that stuff touching it. You could have really got some good DNA out of that, but they didn't touch it.
Were they saying that all that super fantastic sweat DNA was from the rape session that happened? Is that why he was?
Oh, well, geez, he really holds on to sweat then, because he had taken her out of there, put her on that dolly, then put her in the van, and then or the grab, then put her back on, and then carry her into the garage, and then take her out. Man, he must have been a sweating pool. And poor Brendan, he was cleaning it all up while he was doing that.
Don't forget that bleach on his jeans.
Yeah, that's how he got it on there. And you know, where's the gun that he left in the back seat? And the knife. Because I heard
the knife.
Brendan said that would have collaborated his story, right? If they would have found.
Don't you love how they didn't photograph everything in the car as is, where it is, before putting it in bags and labeling
They
it?
tampered
Wow.
with a
Hmm.
crime scene. You're
Absolutely.
breaking the law. You can go to jail for that because you are tampering with the crime scene. You are up withholding. What is it? What is it called when you stand in the way of a cop and you're not? You're like obstructing justice. That's what it
Okay.
is. That's what they say. They say that we were
They were obstructing
obstructing
justice.
justice.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think they
Absolutely.
even know how to fucking spell justice. If you want to know the truth. Swear to God, somebody had to teach them the day they went to court. Now remember, justice is spelled this way, and truth and honesty is spelled this way. You better believe it. And who picks their freaking detective out of a freaking internet search here? Oh, Kelly, yeah, that looks good. His last
Oh
name
my
is
God.
very Irish, so he might be drunk all the time. I am gonna cry.
I just
Those rib-
I hope yellow and blue ribbons just haunt his ass forever.
I hope that he can look at that and say, "Man, I'm a bad actor, and I shouldn't have did that because I look like an asshole." That's what I hope. Does he look like an asshole?
A
You know,
walking one.
it just looks terrible. I can't stand that guy again. I can't believe he's still an operational. They can still do it. They can still do what he does. Because Google his name once, see what you get. It's going to say Brendan. Brendan. It will say Brendan Dassey right across it when you Google his name. The first
How
thing that comes up.
sad.
Yeah. And it says how bad he was doing a job. You know what I'm saying? And yet people are still hiring him. I think they're hiring him
Crazy.
because, well, Ken Kratz and his sexting team is helping him, I guess, live or something. I don't know. I don't get it. What do you think about Ken and Leo Lehman tweet?
Oh man. Well, I'm hoping it's because something juicy is going on, obviously.
Well, like
But
maybe a gag order, but I'd want
well,
him to talk.
you know, okay. Mm, I'd like to think that maybe there's some movement on the case and they know that something's about to come forward. That's what
Mhm.
I would like to think.
Yeah.
Personally, another thought was maybe they moved because they got too many paper dicks in the mail. Everyone send Kratz a dick.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I wish I would have known that. You can do that. They got them candy. What are they called? Sexagram or something? You can send them that stuff. You can send them a shit on a single and shit. You know what I mean? Or a horse head
yes.
gummy bear or some shit.
Oh, it could have been as simple as they wanted to move where they were less known. They could be splitting. There could be nothing.
He
They're
wants
just
to be
moving.
known, though. He puts himself out here still.
Yeah,
Hey,
I don't know. To Never mind. I was gonna say something, but
you
I
can say
caught
whatever you
myself.
want.
No, no.
I get it.
I
I know what you mean. There's so many players, so many scenarios, so many. They got this from this, and then that meets that, and then this one you look at, and that meets that, but it don't meet with that one, and it should. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get
yeah,
certain things to go together, but you can't get
yeah,
it two things from two different things to go together to make it even half believable.
yeah. It just their story didn't make sense. It didn't. It wasn't consistent. It didn't flow.
Mhm.
It wasn't A to Z. It was a whole bunch of letters mixed in there. They didn't Protocol wasn't followed. Reports weren't done correctly.
Right.
Reports were
Oh,
locked in freaking safes. Evidence was taken home with
yes.
detectives.
It was brought back to the Averys and then brought back and then found things in it.
You
Why
know,
did they bring that up in court? I wonder why they
I
didn't bring that up in
I
court.
don't know.
That is
I,
very, I think that would have kind of stopped a trial. How are you going to, or at least stop that part of it, whatever they
right.
found in it couldn't be admissible. But we have that judge that just says, well, I really don't see the relevance at this point in the game. What point do you just stop listening to this shit and say, okay, we're done here. Just hurry up and blah, blah, because I'm done with you. And when you're done, we're going to tell them to go do their thing. Give them pizza and, all this other stuff. Create an accident so one leaves. I mean, it's just too much for me.
I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me? Oh, you're losing me. I'll come back.
Hello?
Hello? Are you muted in your ears?
Oh, I hear you now.
Okay. I was just gonna check my internet because sometimes when I fade out,
Can you me?
you'll I
Hello?
hear you. I hear you.
No?
Yes, I hear you. I don't know. This might be my internet.
Okay.
Okay, so I might be
I can't hear
fading.
you like we're on live, but if I'm watching the YouTube feedback, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what's up. I might be losing my internet. Can you hear me at all?
Hmm.
Let me check this. Can you hear me?
Everyone can see and hear me. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
I can
Yes.
just hear you on the YouTube video. I don't.
Okay. Well, we'll talk on there. I don't care if I echo.
Oh, shit.
We're almost done anyway, and we've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, this is
Do you
so
want to
weird, the
text?
delay.
Do you want to text? Let me go out and come back in. No. So guys, guess what we got? A low budget Linda production. Things are going and there ain't nothing we can do about it.
Want that in the video?
What? No. I can go out of the studio and come back in, but you'll stay on because you're there. She's got to listen to it with her earphones off. Hey, why don't we say goodbye? Because it's
I know I'm looking at you right in front of me, and I'm talking into mine, so it's a little different.
we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to delay.
Okay. Wait, I just heard you say we've been on for an hour, so okay.
Yeah, I'm talking after you hear the delay. Did I stop so you can hear it?
Wait, I just heard you say we've been on for an hour, so okay.
Oh my God. Low budget. Okay, well, we're going to be up, Mr.
Interesting.
Cozy. Listen, Chris, let me tell you what. It's always going to be
Oh, yeah.
interesting with me. Okay. Now you'll hear me.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here, so.
It's okay. It's probably me. Oh, there she goes. Okay, if you're watching, honey, it's probably me. I was trying to talk with, you know, okay, honey, don't you dare be sorry. I love you. And you know what that does? It just makes you want to come back. Like, here you go. You want to come back again? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Okay.
Wow! It's not your fault, honey. This happens all the time. So, it's technical issues. Nothing on you, nothing on me. You know what I mean?
Okay. It's nice to figure it out, though.
Yes, it is. It is frustrating, and I understand that. I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I don't do editing, so guess what? They're getting what they got. It's
You
just
guys will take what we give you.
that's right. Take it like you can.
All
Anyway,
right.
I am so glad, and guess what? I really want you back because I could really talk to you for like a whole nother hour, dude. I really could. So if you would love to come back, yes.
Yes, of course. Of course, I'll come back.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody in chat. I'm sorry we didn't get to your questions. If there is one, I'm going to look right now real quick because put your sweat DNA. Okay. Yes. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Okay. Go see Miss Kris at Twitter. And it's in the description because that's what I do. And I'm sure that these guys have linked it up too. And check her out and talk to her some more because obviously you have the most personal story that I've ever heard, honestly, with this case. So I'm very sorry about your grandpa and you and your whole family, but I'm very glad he's out. And
thank you. Me too.
And I'm really, I admire you even more because you're doing this for like a payback for your grandpa, and that's very sweet. and very nice. And besides the fact that you're supporting Brendan and Stephen, and wrongful convictions, because that happened to you, that you can still want to fight for it is great. I love it. It's wonderful. It gives you a drive. You know what I mean? Tell your fiance he eats wonderfully. We'll have to get together on some painting.
Oh, I
Everybody.
would love that. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm not saying goodbye because we'll see you again. But I will say goodbye
Oh, of course.
in the chat. Y'all are wonderful. I love you all. You know that. It's wonderful for you to come and spend time with me and Miss Kress. And we'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow at 3:00 Central. I have the dog and the dog handler and the Scooby dog. So we'll see you guys then. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.